Hey guys, welcome to the Live Well, brought to you by Digital Sportsman, where we get together with our community and talk fishing. The show's fixing to start, we're getting everything ready. But in the meantime, we want to tell you about our fine partners that not only make this show possible, but are companies that we absolutely love and stand behind. Groove Fishing, changing the norm of tackle storage. Sonar Pros, specializing in high-end installations across all electronic brands. Go where the pros go. Lipsticker Fishing, specializing in putting clients on giant Lake Lanier bass. Bill Payne's Guide Service, fish with a legend on Lake Allatoona, seasonal smallmouth trips, or even get your sonar dialed in. Brooks Anderson Fishing, guide trips and educating today's anglers on Lake Lanier. Big League Charters, fish with a pro on Tellico, Fort Loudon, Watts Bar, and Chickamauga. Money Saver Lure Retriever, designed to break your lure free from almost any snag. Fishers of Hope, benefit fishing tournaments to help people in need. Serve IT, industry-leading IT services for your business. Change the way you manage IT. Turner Tire, Jasper, Georgia's most trusted family-owned tire center. Atlanta Safe House, the trusted source for safes and gun safes in Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky, and Alabama. And of course, Digital Sportsman, a new way to discover and book unforgettable outdoor experiences with local trusted guides. Go to fngo.com to get direct links to all our fine partners. Get ready, and let's talk fishing.
Good.
All right, you guys caught me right there with getting my last sip in. Welcome to the Live Well here at FNGO. So glad you guys could join us tonight. Got a great episode for you. We're going to be talking topwater with my buddy Franco Curotto right here to my left. Like that, show it. Look at that beautiful face. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. And I'm always, you know what? You know how sometimes people lift your spirits up whenever they walk into the room? That's this dude right here. So as good as they come. So we're going to talk topwater, but especially topwater on herring fisheries. That's what I really want to get into tonight. Of course, and I got my good buddy over here to my right.
How's it going?
You're the Robin to my Batman.
The Turner to your tire.
The Turner to your tire. And then we got Alex back there in the back. So all you guys in the chat already, hey, appreciate you. Coleman, I hope you're feeling better. He had surgery today.
Yeah, man. So, glad to hear you're recovering well.
Absolutely. Glad. I hope everything's going well with you. Let's go ahead and get a couple things out of the way. I want to make sure I start pounding this in your guys' head, in your minds and everything. December 6th, Toys for Tots. Okay. Go ahead and mark it down. All the information's getting ready to come out. I want to see all of you guys there as we try to raise, some toys for the less fortunate kids in Hall County. Just putting a smile on kids' face. It makes you feel better when you do things like that. I promise you, anytime you can help somebody else. And also go to the group page too. And remember LJ. And if you feel led to, go to that GoFundMe and help them out. But there's also going to be some tournaments coming up as well. I talked to some guys today. There's going to be plenty of opportunity to help out.
That Toys for Tots tournament was really well run last year too. Yeah. Me and Eddie Krauth fished it, and we had an absolute blast. It was well run. It was great, super, super easy. All the guys were great, and we had a great turnout. So we'd love to see that turnout get even bigger and better this year. And the weather's great. Fishing's awesome. I think it took 20 something to win. We had it was crazy. 19 pounds. It was fun.
Crazy. It was like 30 something teams within like 3 pounds.
Yep.
It was ridiculous.
It was a lot of fun.
But yeah, 98 boats last year.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Let's break 100.
Yeah.
Let's get 100 and all that. But anyway, go ahead and mark it down. No excuses. I'm giving you plenty of time. All right. John G says, hey guys, hey Batman, Robin, and Alex. We'll come up with a nickname for you. I don't know that. So anyway, guys, listen, I want you guys in the comment section tonight. Kurt Lee Eller had a big weekend on Fontana this past weekend.
Fontana's a lot of fun. I fished that lake a lot in college. It's up in Bryson City, North Carolina, herring fishery. It drops 80 feet in the wintertime, which is kind of crazy to fish a place that like you can look up. You can be sitting in 60 foot of water and your trolling motor can be on the bank and the back of the boat's in 60 foot. It's crazy. So it's super steep, bluff walls everywhere, herring fish running around. It's a lot of fun, sneaky. It's in the mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous this time of year, especially as we get into October. Leaves start to change.
He says you're not lying.
Yep. It's lying. I like how I spelled that.
L-I-E-N. You're lying.
Yeah.
Is it North Carolina?
Yeah, North Carolina. It's
okay.
2 hours away from here. It's a good little hidey hole to go up. My favorite lake to fish in the wintertime is Fontana Lake for sure.
Sounds like it.
It's
like
cool.
You jumped right on that.
Oh yeah.
He said, "Come fish it." So
I will. Let's go, Kurt. We'll go.
But 80 feet is ridiculous. What's up, Hogan?
It's 400 foot at the dam. It's a deep lake. It's a big, super deep, clear.
I've never fished Fontana.
It's a cool place.
I've seen I've actually heard about Fontana, I think, through you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, great
That's
fishery.
crazy.
Yeah, I fish it every winter.
Sounds like we need to have a guys trip.
Yeah, let's go.
Kinley says, hi, Uncle Danny. Okay. Kinley, I love you. I love you. That's my great niece. You talking about somebody that's got me wrapped around her finger? Like,
Nice.
even probably more so than my own daughters. Like, I love that. Tell her I said hello.
That's awesome.
All right. So anyway, let's get to talking about fishing. Okay. So topwater fishing has been kind of hit and miss the last couple of years, but this guy beside me is always posting pictures of big spotted bass and other things. She said she loves you too. Oh man, like my heart just melted. Like I'm done. I could go home right now. I know y'all want to talk fishing, but I'm like, I'm good. I'm absolutely good. A lot of guys are struggling with it this year. And I know you probably have experienced it a little bit too. That just doesn't seem like the topwater bite, especially on Lanier, it's not as good as what it's known for.
It hasn't been consistent.
Hasn't been consistent.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I want to help the guys out. Just say it, Danny. The topwater sucks right now. Okay. Well,
we got a guy here that's about to prove that wrong.
Yeah. So, so what I want you guys to do, I want you to ask the questions too.
Yeah.
Because I really want to squeeze him for every bit of juice we can get tonight, because we want to help you guys catch more fish. So, Franco, let's just kind of start this way. What have you seen this summer going into the fall as far as that topwater bite?
All right. So over the last 5 days, I was on Lanier 3 out of those 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling Clint on Thursday, I caught, I think, 22.5 pounds of 5 fish, almost all on topwater. And then I was out there Monday for my birthday, and again, just absolutely clobbered them on topwater all day for the most part. What I see happening, it's a couple of things. So I'll tell you about Thursday. Thursday was kind of that 22.5 day, and I'll tell you about Monday as well. Friday was, I lost a giant. It was a big girl. But starting on Thursday, I mean, super calm day. And there was not a breath of wind, but they were keying in on threadfin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you guys straight up, I caught him on a Rico, a little tiny popper. I pulled up to one spot, caught a 4.5, and then a 5, all on that little Rico.
That's awesome.
And you just have to work it really slow. It's kind of when they're in a mood, and you have to figure out what cadence they really want. Do they want the bait fast? Do they want the bait slow? So I figured that deal out on Thursday. Friday I went back out, and then I lost that big giant one. Same bait, so I actually lost the bait. I had to go back on Saturday, buy a couple Ricos. Went out Monday, and they were keying in on, at least the fish that I found were keying in on herring. And I'm telling you, you could not work that OG fast enough. I mean, I was burning it. I'm talking about as fast as I could. And that's where the thing that we'll talk about it tonight, hopefully, but the OG, it's such a versatile bait. You can work it slow, you can work it fast. And they wanted it like as fast as you could work it.
Right.
Like I'm talking about, I was burning the mess out of that thing, and then I would stop it and they would clobber it. And caught some really nice fish on Monday doing that.
I have no doubt about that. Casey Weaver wants to know, what is everyone's favorite top water for clear water and pressured fish? I've not ever had too much luck on top water. So I'm going to say, you want to go ahead and say the OG? Is that your favorite, or do you have
by
another?
far.
I kind of knew that was coming.
Yeah, the cast OG, it is, out of anything that I have on my boat, any topwater lure, or any lure for that matter, it's my favorite bait to catch them on.
Steve Broom on TikTok wants to know, mono or braid, or fluoro, or
go ahead and walk us through your setup. You guys.
So I actually brought it, so in case you guys wanted to talk about it, but
go ahead.
I do 50-pound cast braid to a, what is that, like a 2 foot, 3 foot, maybe 2 foot, 2 foot fluorocarbon 20-pound leader. And I tie a little O-ring to the bait so that I don't have to switch out the actual leader itself. It's a swivel to an O-ring. And so I have some needle nose pliers and I can switch that thing out quickly and I don't have to ever switch out the leader at all.
Which is huge when you have such a short leader. You don't want to keep cutting that
leader
and things like that.
It takes so much time, right, to retie a leader. So, and a lot of times with these fish, especially now more than ever, they're getting so keyed into what guys are throwing that you have to find the nuances. You have to figure out what is it that they're not seeing that everyone else is throwing.
Right.
And so I'll cycle through baits. I'll go up to a spot and as soon as I see, hey, okay, they're not reacting to that, I'll switch over and I'll put a 30 gram on. I'll switch out and switch out to a different color.
Right.
So just keep cycling, keep trying new things. Don't get locked into just throwing one thing one way. And I think that's the key right now.
I got you. So there was a comment on TikTok about cast being the best ever. Ray, yeah, I agree with that, especially when it comes to casting. And then Troy Woodruff, he says, good evening. Appreciate you joining us. There's a couple one. I'm going to get to those, but I got a question for me.
Yeah.
You talked about Thursday throwing the Rico.
Yeah.
Was that what you started with? What do you normally start with on Lanier? What's your first bait? How do you figure that out?
It depends on the conditions a lot. Especially the time of year.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of, when I went into Thursday, I think I wanted to try to figure them out. And what I saw a lot of threadfin jumping around.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I thought was, okay, let me try something really small.
Yeah.
And for example, you can throw a riser right now, which riser used to be like the deal, but right now it's not. I believe they become so conditioned to that thing. Yeah. Everybody throws it.
And it's been out a lot longer than people realize too.
Absolutely.
I was shown the riser back in 2018 and I was like, this thing is sneaky.
Sneaky.
And
yeah.
It's not sneaky
that's
anymore.
7
It's not sneaky
years
anymore.
Ago.
Yeah.
They've seen it for 7 years.
No, that's the thing. You show a bait and your guys show it and it gets popular and then everyone throws it.
Us?
No, not
There's
you.
There's going to be a run on
not you for sure.
They're going to be so
I know who put it on blast, but I won't say who that is. Because actually, I saw that bait being thrown on Fontana, actually.
Yep.
Way back. I'm talking about like 7 years ago. And I said, and I remember calling Ryan, I said, dude, this thing is like, and I brought it over to Lanier and it's like one of those things like they've never seen it.
Yeah.
And I kept it quiet. But what I was going to say was you can throw a bait like a riser and they won't even pay attention to it. It comes over their head and they're like, mm-mm. And so that day it was so calm, so slick. I think the next thing, I tried a wake bait and the profile of the wake bait or whatever, I even tried a very small wake bait, but whatever they didn't like the action, how slow it was coming through the water. And so again, I saw them busting again, that threadfin jumping. And I said, let me try this real small Rico. It's one of the baits that I like throwing a Rico. It's a real small popper. It's kind of a proven, really good popper.
They're I know, aren't they like $20?
They're pretty expensive. Yeah. I think they're like, depending on when you get them at Tackle Warehouse for like 25. I've seen them, some tackle shops will send them for about 21. But anyways, I tied that thing on, man, and it was lights out. But the thing is funny is they'll let you know right away. That's the thing. They'll key you in and say, hey, this is working. This is not working.
Yeah. And
it was funny because Monday, it was one of those days that it constantly shifted. It started with an OG. Then they stopped biting the OG about 10:30. Then I started throwing a skimmer. They started hitting the skimmer really good. And then around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, all of a sudden the bite changed again and they started keying really on small bait and I started throwing the Rico again and then they started keying in on that. And so it was like this constant changing through the day just for whatever reason.
That's crazy. Now, Evan, he's talking about bass and specifically right now we're talking about Lake Lanier. So even though he catches everything, spotted bass.
Yeah,
that's what
bass.
We're talking about right now. I just was curious as to what you started off with.
Yeah.
So speaking of species, though, how many species have you caught on the OG? And like, have you caught some big ones on it?
Yeah. So
You know the answer to that question. Look at that loaded question.
Clint's over there trying to bring the light. So on the OG, this is crazy. I've caught all 3 personal bests of striper, largemouth, and spotted bass.
Nice.
So I've caught a 22.5 pound striper on it. I've caught well over 7.5 largemouth, and I caught a 576, 578 spotted bass on it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And the thing is funny. I wanted to talk about this because I was on my way over here and I thought about this because so many guys think you can only throw the OG on windy days. That is by far one of the biggest myths about the OG. I've caught both the striper and the spotted bass came on days where there was no wind.
Really?
At all.
Well, I mean, listen, it makes sense like that.
For sure.
Now, Stephen wants to know, what's your setup on the Rico?
On the Rico, so it's funny. I was throwing on a medium light, 12 pound, again, Cast X12 braid to a little small 8 pound fluorocarbon leader. And then on Friday, I had like one well over 5 break me off. She was trying to get into the brush, and I cupped the spool, and she straight just snapped it. And so then I upgraded on Monday to just throwing it on a medium. I threw it on a medium rod. Same thing, 12 pound braid to an 8 pound leader, and I could handle those fish fine. They didn't give me any problems.
Okay. Bible Bass TV, how you doing, buddy? Appreciate you joining us tonight. Oh, yeah, listen. Hey, guys, still asking about Wright Patman. Have you fished Wright Patman before?
No.
I got to get that guy. I was going to ask some of the MPFL guys, and I haven't got an answer back. He hit us at lunch today wanting to know. He's got a
Did they
tournament.
fish it? Did the MPFL
They did in
fish
23.
it? Okay.
They did in 23. I'm still waiting on my answer. I haven't forgotten about you, bud. But, yeah, he's got a tournament. Them Texas Lakes, he was talking about that earlier. All right, scroll back up. Let's try to catch up with the YouTube because I know I missed.
Yeah, I'm up there. This is the last one we answered.
Okay, so all right. Go to Case again. Would you say then spooks, walking style baits in general, even that's kind of what the cast kind of goes into? It's not necessarily the walking style the way you fish it, but those kind of baits, that's your favorite topwater?
No, I don't even.
I wouldn't consider.
Sorry
that.
to like. Yeah, I wouldn't even consider the OG a walking bait at all. Although you can walk it, I don't fish it that way.
No, you fish it.
Yeah, and we can talk about that. I mean, it's the thing I love
like
about
calling
it.
a glide bait a fluke. Like,
Yeah,
it's just not.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to put it.
It
Man.
is a good way.
Yeah, great way to put it.
It is.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it. The thing that the guys typically don't know about the OG is that it's super versatile. So you can work it all kind of different ways, and you don't have to work it fast. You can work it super slow. You can work it like a popper, which a lot of guys don't know that. And at different times of the season, you can do all kinds of things with it. And we can talk through that starting in spring all the way up to fall.
You can do whatever
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is you can make one cast with it and do 2 different retrieves in that cast, make another cast with it, do 2 more different retrieves. And like there's so many different ways you can have it on the same exact setup. And yes, you can do retrieves differently if you put it on straight fluoro or things like that, but and do the sweeping stuff or change up the rod just a little bit. But you can change it up so much. And I think that for these temperamental fish, like you were talking about, they were keying in on a different bait as the hours go on throughout the day. Yeah. So you can change up your retrieves a lot. And that's one thing I think is special about that bait. Especially is just the non-mechanical random action. You can make that thing not look like a standard left, right walking bait. Like you can burn it a couple times and then it bobs up and then all of a sudden you sploosh it like a popper and then you burn it again.
Sploosh it.
Yeah.
Sploosh it.
Yeah. And then you can rip it, stop it, bop it, and then they plop it. Like
so,
you're rapping now.
to piggyback off what Clint's saying, there's a thing that when it comes to topwater lures, that's called rate of stall. And so you have a spectrum when it comes to rate of stall in topwater. You have baits on one side of the spectrum, like a popper, that can stay in place and you can work it for a long time in the strike zone and keep it in place. And then you have baits on the other side of the spectrum, like a spook, and you can work it super quick through the actual water column, but then it stays in the strike zone for a very small amount of time. If those fish are, for example, if they're seated on a brush pile, you bring it over fairly quickly over that brush pile. The thing about the OG that, like, just to piggyback off what Clint's saying, it covers that entire spectrum. So you can work it super slow and pop it in place or even stall it, or you can speed it up and you can work it as fast as, like on Monday, I couldn't work that bait fast enough. I mean, I ended up switching over to like an 8-to-1 reel, and I was burning the mess out of it just to get them to react to it. But it covers that entire spectrum of a rate of stall. And so it's super versatile.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Real quick, do you know when the 50 is going to be back in stock? Have you heard anything on that? Either one of you guys?
The braid, I don't know.
It should be a few weeks. I want to say he's got a shipment coming in within the next few weeks.
Okay. All right. For sure. All right. Let's see. Pull up David Weaver's right there. I'm going to read Eddie J's, but leave David's up for a second. He said, although it's not strictly a topwater bait, the clutch darter is exceptionally effective on herring lakes.
It is.
And yeah, for sure. Like that. And then LP5 Patriot wants to know, what line are you guys, what do y'all like on spooks? If you're throwing a spook style bait, what are you throwing it on real quick?
I would throw a similar setup to the OG of like your
Same exact setup.
Yeah, your 50-pound cast braid to 20-pound leader.
Okay.
Yep.
All right,
and I didn't talk about the rod. So it's a 7.2 medium heavy, and I throw the same thing for a spook. That's the other good thing about having that swivel with the O-ring. You can switch out and go straight from an OG to a spook and just go to it. Yeah. And so same exact setup, 7.2 medium heavy, 50-pound braid to that leader.
What knot do you tie?
I tie what's called a blood knot.
Blood knot. So you use the blood knot.
Yeah.
So there you go. LP5 Patriot. I love all these names like that. So give it a try. I honestly give it a try. Let's see. Now let's get to David's. Only had a few days this year where we could catch burning. Otherwise, it was painfully slow working the bait.
That's right.
Now, when you went out Thursday, what did you target first as far as like structure? Were you over brush piles, humps, points? What was your first spot? What
that's a great question.
And why? I want the why.
Yeah, that's a great question. All right. So just based off of history and my experience with this time of year, I was out there Thursday kind of towards the afternoon, and I fished all the way into the evening. What they start doing this time of year is they start relating to rock, specifically rock on humps or off of islands, and kind of right in that mid-range. So you kind of look at if there's any sort of rock that comes out kind of in that 10-foot range, and they can kind of linger in that area. That's the stuff I look for. Especially, I'm just going to give it all up tonight. All right. Baby. So in the afternoons and the evenings, they start feeding heavily, especially around 3 o'clock. And they feed heavily till about 3 till about 7. Mm-hmm. And so anywhere you can find, if you're looking at your map and you're seeing like a hump that is shallow and it's flat and has rock on it and it drops off, you're gonna find them there. And so I was looking for that on Thursday, and then once you find them, it's just a matter of figuring out what cadence they want, how they're looking, because they're gonna be feeding. Mm-hmm. And so, like I said, it was so funny. They're so different on each day. Thursday they wanted the bait worked extremely slow. I'm talking about like this, bloop, bloop, and I'll let it sit there. And I literally watched a 5-pounder just come up and just suck it in, and she just went off with it. And that was on Thursday. Then on Monday, it was funny because I got out there and I don't know what was in me. It was my birthday or whatever, but I wanted to catch them. We were dropping this brand new color. It's called Lanier. And so I got out there and I was looking at them and just working it like I normally would this time of year, which is typically like a much more quicker retrieve. But I started burning the mess out of that thing, like as fast as I could. I mean, I was working it right over their head, and I could tell they would react to it. And as soon as I stopped it, they would ignite on it.
So you use that speed to get their interest.
Yes.
And killed it.
Yep. but that worked only in the morning. That was the thing about it. From like, I got out there at 7 until 10:30. And then when 10:30 happened, it stopped. I mean, they were done with that bite specifically. Then I started working a skimmer over them, kind of medium speed. And then as the afternoon went on, they wanted it slower and slower.
That's crazy how it just changes.
Yeah.
It changes a
It
lot.
just changes like that.
Yeah.
Let's see where we're at. There's Tony out there. Walking Topwater and Boner Chrome, Cane Walker, Drift Walker have worked well for me. I'm still getting used to the OG. Now, he's been on before. We've had Ryan on before. I remember when you guys first came out with it.
Yeah.
You worked it a certain way, and now you guys work it a little bit different. Like you keep refining.
Yeah,
you've refined,
fine-tuned it a lot.
Yeah, and in different ways. When you say you're burning it right now,
yeah,
are you reeling it and jerking it, or are you just jerking it real? I mean, what is burning? How do you burn it?
I'm talking about like, if you like you're working a Seville or you throw it out over where you think they're at, right? So you pull up on your point or in your hump, and you know like, hey, they should be in this general area. And I'm talking about, I sat there and I worked it, and then just stopped it. I'm talking about 10, 11 turns. All of a sudden, when I stopped it, there was 3 or 4 or 5 of them just come up and just bulldoze it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you noticed? So, like last time I was out with Kevin Underwood, who will be here Thursday night, guys. We're going to be talking about the fall stuff and lake turnover. I know a lot of you guys asked for that. So Kevin will be here Thursday night.
Yeah.
We noticed, like I noticed on his, looking at his forward facing sonar, a ton of fish that were coming up, but not hitting and going back down.
Yep.
Now, was there something that I could have done? We tried. Now, Kevin works his flukes really fast.
Yeah.
I was more slow and all that, but it was happening to both of us. Have you noticed that a lot this year?
Yeah, a lot. I think with the
is it a pressure
it's
thing?
probably, it's controversial, right?
No, go ahead.
But it's they are pinpointed almost throughout the week, right? I mean, they get so much pressure.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys an example, just so you guys know. Especially here on Lanier, they get beat up so bad. And it's amazing to me that you can still go out there and catch 4 or 5 pounders.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For sure. But like, you can go up to like another lake, like Lake Chatook, for example. And it's a totally different deal. It's almost, they act up there like they've never seen an OG.
Yeah.
Sure. But if you go to Lanier, you have to be, super mindful of the fact that they are getting hit every day. And they're getting hit by what the majority of people think is the right thing to throw.
Yeah. Okay.
And so you got to think about that. And so what I was going to tell you to answer your question, Danny, what I always try to do when I see them doing that, especially if I see them, like if they're coming up on the bait and they're turning off, right? I try to change my cadence. I try to change the color. I try to change the bait. And just try different things, especially like, if I can tell for the most part, they're trying to strike the OG, they're just not committing to it. It's either a color thing or it's a cadence thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's good right there.
Yeah.
Shimano World Pop has been working here in New York on the Hudson River. Hey, there you go, Mike.
That's awesome.
Appreciate that. Friday, there was so much bait, you almost could walk across it in 6 Mile. I can imagine that too. Now, I like Captain J. Morgan, I like this come right here. Right there. Yeah, right there. I feel like we can definitely trust Franco. You don't often hear I had to go buy a few more Ricos because of the dollar signs and all that stuff. Yeah. Listen, you can trust the man. I promise you. He is a very high character fella. You can trust him like that. Let's see. Matthew Smith. Great details about cycling baits. How long do you give a bait before trying something new?
I am pretty, I don't give it long. And
really?
I'm talking about like, I'll pull to a spot, maybe give it one more shot on a different spot. And I'm running like a lot of spots. I'm go, constantly running and gunning. And so I'll try a wake bait. If I throw it over a couple of good spots that I know there's fish there, and they don't come up and they don't do anything with it, I'm done. It's over. Like she's next one, popper. Okay, let's try a popper. Okay, no, then a couple spots. No, they're not. Okay, let's mix in an OG.
So you're not doing it at the first spot. You're just kind of doing that, working those different baits over
Correct.
different spots.
Because once a school of fish or a group of fish have seen your lure, those fish are done, man. They're burned.
Oh no, I can believe it.
Oh,
Is that because of the pressure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you're pulling them off of where they were chilling.
Yeah. Yeah. Or for the matter, they know you're there. Those guys, we don't give them enough credit.
They got a PhD on Lanier.
Oh yeah. They know you're there. And once they know you're there, I mean, you probably get 1 or 2 good shots at them.
Yeah.
And if you take your 1 or 2 good shots and they don't do their deal as you want them to react to it, it's time to move on.
Yeah, I can believe that's what Kevin said. He's like, they know, even though they don't react and you're looking on your sonar, they know you're there. They know there's a bait there. You're in their bedroom. And so kind of like what you just said, they know.
Yeah.
And so you know like that. Ryan says all sizes of X12 are fully in stock. I see that comment down at the bottom. Let's see. Where's the next question at? Sploosh. That's how far back we are in the comments. We're on Sploosh. So there you go. Hey, listen, you know what that means? That means you guys are interested. So I like that. So Collins had a question. James, put your question down again and I'll get to it. He said something about teaching, but we'll go ahead to what is that? And what color on the OG was working for you the other day?
This color right here, man.
That's the Lanier. That's the new
This is the Lanier color. So I don't know if I can show it, but that's it.
They should be able to see that.
Sold out quick too.
It is sold out. I
Yeah.
saw that on Facebook today.
It did sell out super quick. It kind of, it's funny. I was talking to Ryan. It's super natural. It reminds me kind of a sweet bait herring.
Mhm.
Has a very natural look to it. Yeah, and it was funny because I even tried chrome that morning, or river gray as we call it, and they didn't want that. They wanted that real natural color to it, at least for the baits that I threw, because I threw a couple in the mix just to see how they were reacting. And it was so funny. I was telling Clint, it was like almost like just meant to be, because we were releasing the color that morning. It was like the one thing that they were like absolutely clobbering that morning. I was cracking up. I was having fun with it.
That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
Let's see. Pull up Casey Weavers. What's up, Kirk? Pull up that comment. That's awesome info. I always thought the OG was just a spook variant walking bait.
Yeah. So
it is different, guys. It is definitely different.
Yeah. So, and one of the things, actually, I just released Cast released a YouTube video talking through all of the retrieves that I do. But
the master class.
It is the master.
It's called the master class, which is kind of funny. But so I'll just kind of walk you through quickly the seasons and how I work the bait differently.
Absolutely.
So you guys can get a better grasp of how like versatile the bait is. So let's start out spring, and we're talking about kind of herring spawn time. I'm telling you, I throw that thing out there. I will turn it just a few times. Now, I'm not trying to work it quick, not trying to do any of that. All I'm doing is turning it a few times, and then I let it sit. And I let it marinate for like 10 seconds.
That long.
That
It
long.
really does. I filmed it.
Yeah, Clint has been in the boat with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the word marinate.
Oh yeah.
You got to let something sit to marinate.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, good. That's a good
Yeah.
description.
And that's the thing. I mean, if y'all remember that for the herring spawn, guys don't know about that. So I'll definitely tell you something that's I let it sit there, and those fish can't handle it. You kind of move out into your kind of April, May timeframe as they're moving out. So they're starting to move out, right? On brush, on structure. And that's when at first they're super curious. They'll come up on your bait and they'll start inspecting it. They'll come up and look at it. They're not like full blown yet, like in June and July. All right. And so in that time, and I put this on the video, so I'll let it out here as well. I put a little weight on the back of the OG, And so I retrieve it. I either pull it and then I turn it and bring it over that structure and get their attention. And they'll all move up they'll gravitate to it and they'll start looking at it. And with that little weight on the back, it makes the bait bob. It makes it do this. So you swim it and then it goes up and down in the water column like this. And when it bobs, they can't stand it. They absolutely come unglued for it. And it's kind of a little modification I made to the bait or whatever you want to call it, where if you just buy the bait and you swim it, it will swim and then it'll pop back up and it'll just sit there like that. But if you add a little weight to the tail of it, it makes it go like this. And they can't stand it.
Like guys, put the camera on me. I hope you appreciate the juice. That's all I'm saying is I hope you appreciate the juice right here like that.
That's
all
right.
right, so that's April, May.
Now
we're getting to the summer. The
hot
part.
The hot part of the summer in June and July. I mean, that's when you have your fish that are really hungry. They're willing to eat. And from like you've heard us always talk about real pause. Mm-hmm. Real pause. I mean, typically that's all you have to do. There are some places, I'll let this out. So I'll give you a little bit of extra added. Clint's seen this as well. On the marina walls, you can take the bait and you can throw it up to the marina wall and you can slash it, like just pop it hard, and they come unglued for it on the marina walls. But that's like a marina wall deal. And they'll do it too over structure, but you don't have to. You can just work it normally or whatever. That's pretty cool. And then as we're now moving into we start to transition back into the fall time. It starts to cool off. Like I told you guys, you can't work the bait fast enough right now. I mean, they want to chase, and that's what they want to do. They want to chase and they want to hunt. And so right now you can't work it fast enough. I catch fish on the OG all the way up to like the end of November. Last year I caught them up to the week of Thanksgiving.
Really?
Oh, I caught some giants.
Like, I could just sit here and hush. I ain't got to say nothing. I'm just like, keep on talking, baby. Keep on throwing that stuff out there. That's good stuff.
Yeah, caught them I'm talking about really good. We had last year, the week of Thanksgiving, we had a front come through. I mean, it was freaking blowing before Thanksgiving. It was gassing. And I went out there and absolutely just whacked them. And it was cold. I'm talking about you had to be bundled up, but they were still willing to come up. And if you just threw that OG over them, they couldn't stand it.
I love this stuff. You can tell he likes the bait, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, like the smile on his face, he gets excited. That's what I'm sitting there thinking. I'm like,
he's caught so many big fish on it. I'd love it too.
I know.
I do love the bait. I've caught a lot of big fish on it too, but not near as many as he has for sure.
But I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, we get guests in here, and they're all great. And they all talk about good information. But like, he's giddy over here. Like, he's like a kid.
Fired up.
Like, what's the real gear? What's the real gear ratio you prefer for walking baits? And do you ever throw just straight braid?
Never throw straight braid. I always keep a leader on it. And actually, I play with the leader some. So what the OG does is it dives. And if I want the bait to dive more, because crazy enough, the more that you let it dive, the more it gets their attention at times. And so if you put a fluoro leader on it, it will dive a little bit more than if you use a mono leader. A mono leader will actually keep it more towards the top of the water column. So in the fall, I don't need it to dive that much, but when they get deeper on that brush, I'll put some fluoro leader like we have on it right now, and it dives more and it gets their attention.
Okay, there you go.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, here we go.
They don't come stock, say with a feather treble.
Yeah.
Are you making your own?
I tie my own trebles. Yeah. I actually just tied some for Ryan.
You know what? I was sitting there thinking, honestly, I was like, I didn't know they started putting I noticed that.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask that, but I'm glad you did it. So I didn't have
and it's something we've been talking about. It's a preference thing for me and a confidence thing. I like it because, right now it doesn't matter, to be honest with you. They could care less if you have a feather on it. They're literally like plowing it. They just want, if they see it moving, they're going after it. But there are moments in the year where they become so curious of what's happening. And that's just gives me a little bit more confidence to leave it there, to let it rest and say, hey, she's going to hit it. And so I like to tie my own feather trebles on it. But yeah.
Yeah. No,
And we're talking to Ryan about, hey, can we actually release it? Like, can we have it come like that in the package? Because I think all of your, like, it's funny. I was talking about the Ricos. The Ricos come with a great feather treble hook on it.
Yeah.
And I love that about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys will take a Seville style bait if it doesn't come, and they'll put one.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, he also wants to know, what's your biggest and smallest topwater bait that you will throw, and which one when? So, like, what is the biggest topwater? Would it be the?
Gosh, I wish I would have brought it.
Would it be the 50 or the?
No, it's a 60 gram.
A 60. Okay.
Yeah, I throw a 60 gram in the fall.
It's
funny because I walked in here and I was like, gosh, I wish I would have brought it. Because when we initially brought the bait over from Australia in 2020, that's what we were throwing. It was in the fall, and we were throwing a 60 gram. And 60 gram, it makes this thing look small. I mean, it's like
three times the size of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 3 times the size of it. And again, you don't have to have wind. You can throw it in slick conditions, and they come unglued for it. So in the fall, I throw a 40 and a 60 quite a bit. It was funny, even last year, July and August, like even during the hottest months of the year, they would come unglued for the 40 gram. It was like a size thing. Like they wanted that particular size, the bigger size, bigger profile. If you threw the 20, they didn't want to come up for it.
They wanted that big.
They wanted the bigger size.
What's the smallest one you'll throw?
Well, the smallest bait that I will throw, it probably be that Rico. I would say that Rico's like,
it's tiny.
It's tiny, man.
It's tiny. Now, a lot of people talk about throwing smaller baits because in the fall because the bait's smaller, but you're saying that's not necessarily true.
Right.
We hear that a lot, though. Is that a misconception?
Say that again.
That a lot of people talk about, all right, it's fall time of year.
Yeah.
They're keying in on smaller baits, so everybody downsizes their baits, which you did with the Rico, but you're saying they'll still hit a big bait in the fall.
Yeah, I think, one of the things that, and I'll give them credit for this, the guys from Tactical Bass, and they say this, and I think I've probably heard a few other guys say it. You want to play the extremes. Play the extremes to your favor. So what I mean by that is throw a real small bait, throw a really big bait, and see how they react. And don't worry about the fact of whether it's windy or not. Throw that, dude, get that thing out of your head.
I hear that a lot, though. Got to have some chop.
It's so funny because I hear guys say that. I'm like,
it's like you don't need wind to throw a spinner bait. Like how many slick, calm days I've caught them on a spinner bait, and everybody's like, you need some wind. Like
that is what a lot of people say, and they say it about topwater too.
Yep.
No. It's not a topwater day. There's no wind.
No, I've got some of the biggest bites on still calm days, but again, play the spectrum to your favor. So some days they're going to key in on really big bait, and some days they're going to key in on really small bait, and you just got to figure that out. But again, it doesn't take long to figure that out. Just tie on a little small bait on a spinning reel and tie on a real big bait and see which one they're willing to go for.
Yeah, that makes total sense. War Eagle the best. Pull up my buddy there. Fish 2 days in a row, midsection of Lanier from 6 p.m. until sunset. Absolutely nothing on topwater baits. Also, not a single blow up of bass on the surface. Was much better this time of the year in 2024, which again, a lot of people have said that.
Yeah.
And you're just saying it's been inconsistent.
It's been inconsistent. I think it's very location specific.
Mm-hmm.
What I find is that, like, I'll run 10 spots and it's the same type of stuff. And for whatever reason on that 10th spot, they'll go.
Yeah.
So it's very, I'm speaking for Lanier, right? I think you have to constantly move, constantly stay on the search and the hunt for them, and you'll run into them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Pull up old Daniel Boone. Daniel Boone is in the chat. I have 2 OGs, but for the guys that may need a cheaper alternative, a lighter and a few lead strips will give any spook style bait a very similar action, and it won't hurt you as bad if you lose it. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that, like, great bait, I'm afraid to lose it to stripers or something
Right.
like that. You do hear that. So
Oh, yeah,
I totally
absolutely.
get that.
I totally get that too.
What I'm saying, Coleman says the new OG colors look insane. Props to Ryan and the team for the design. How much into the design of the colors do you local guys get? You know, you get Brooks and you, and I guess maybe O'Connell, and there's a few others. Like, how much feedback are you allowed to give when Ryan comes to you and says, hey, what do you think?
I mean, there's been some things that I released the color last year. Totally gave it to me. He was like, dude, you do it.
Yeah.
It was called Joker. And it's, I think now we've released a color that's kind of like it. It's called Overcast. It has a chartreuse bottom to it and purple back. I know Brooks, I think he basically gave Brooks the keys to come up with Amethyst.
Yeah. Which I think is cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. And for the most part, what he does, and Clint, correct me if I'm wrong, he'll reach out and he'll say, hey man, I'm thinking about this. What do you think? I remember like Bankroll, for example, and I was like, it was kind of like an accent. I was telling him, I was like, hey, they react really well when you have blue kind of a blue shade on the bottom of the belly of the bait. And it all worked out. It worked out great. And so he'll reach out to us and always look for input.
Yeah.
And say, hey, what do you think works?
I like
it. And he's always doing it. He's always trying to improve. He's like, hey,
constantly,
like, let's do this color like this. Let's try something new. And like for a while, I would get on him. I'd be like, dude, we don't need more colors. Like, let's focus on innovation on things. But like the new colors has been something because it fills those gaps in between, because it's like you can have too many colors for sure. But being able to, like, with the OG being such a specialty bait, more of that glide bait realm, like I talked to these glide bait guys like Josh Plady's from Clutch, and he's like designing all these different colors for different scenarios, because once you find a bait in your tackle box that catches them and that you can get some confidence in, you want them in all these different colors, right? Because then you can apply it to more situations. If you just have one chrome bait, it's only really going to be confident in it when it's sunny outside and you have those sunny conditions. You're not going to be as confident when it's overcast. So that's when you buy, okay, like I'll always tell people, if I'm going to buy an OG, like I want to buy something like a river gray or chrome or something that's got some flash to it for those sunny days. But then I also want like a herring or a lanier or a bone. That way I have like at least a 1-2 punch to where you could be fishing the same day, like you were saying, and catch them really good on a river gray. And then all of a sudden it starts to get cloudy and you're like, okay, now I need to switch to something to match the hatch a little bit better, match the way the light's refracting off the bait, like with different conditions, varying conditions, a little bit more wind. Maybe you want a little more flash because you get a little bit more wind, something to just draw them a little farther. Right. So I think having access to different colors is huge, especially like throughout casts, like not just the OG and the down under, but like looking at our echoes, our prodigies, things like that. Like we've tried to evolve these different colors to really fill those gaps, because like once you build confidence in something, you want it in a bunch of different colors. Like think about how many colors you have in a Senko for different times a year and different things. Or like, hey, the crawls are kind of orange in the fall, or like when it gets deep winter, they change color, things like that. Like you want to have different colors. And it's cool that Ryan is always like, what's the next one? What's the next one? What's the next one? And he's asking for our input because he wants us to be able to fill our gaps so we have more confidence in the baits as well. Yeah. Because the more that we throw them, the more that we're confident in them, the better that we can make a better product. And then the more people that get to catch fish on those, because we made the bait for their scenario that they want to fill. They might have a super muddy fishery, and if we only made clear water herring baits, they're not going to have any confidence in if we don't make colors that are also applicable to somebody fishing a mud hole in Texas versus us fishing Clearwater and Lanier, or somebody in the Pacific Northwest. I was on a podcast the other night with the Alpha Bass Cast, and he was telling me that they were smashing smallies on the OG on the Columbia River. And I was like, that's so cool. So like, awesome. Because it's like so foreign to us over here on the East Coast, like thinking about, oh, one day I want to fish the Columbia River. And they're like, oh yeah, we're catching them on the same bait you guys have been working on for years over here, and it works over here. And like I remember going up to the St. Lawrence for the first time and catching one on it, and I was like thinking I've got something that nobody else around here is throwing, because like when you go throw an OG on Lanier, like that's where it was born freshwater for us. Like, I mean, obviously it was born on the Great Barrier Reef and all that stuff, but like for us bass guys, like Lanier was the first place we really got to.
That was a proving ground.
Yeah, that was the proving ground for it.
Yeah.
So it's like they see it all the time there, but when you get to take it somewhere like Texas or California or up north to St. Lawrence River, you feel like you got something nobody else has.
That's right.
And like, but it's cool to see that it has grown, and we're getting pictures from guys catching their PB smallmouth in Oregon. Like we got a picture a couple weeks ago. Like that was like it was like a 6. It was a high 6,
6'7".
Yeah, like
6'7" or
awesome.
6'8". Smallmouth on an OG.
Yeah,
yeah.
And it's cool to see that like you can't be limited like in your baits. Like we've got guys catching muskie on them, snook, GTs, like everything. And that's the cool thing is like, yes, it's a more expensive bait. And I don't want us to just be all focused on the OG, but we might as well. We have the OG master in here. But I mean, you can take this same bait. Like I took plenty of OGs with me when I went on a 12-day longshore or long haul offshore trip for 12 days in San Diego. And I was catching yellowfin tuna on the OG.
Yeah.
The same OG that I caught a spotted bass on 2 weeks before on Lanier. Like that's pretty cool to be able to say you can take a bait and it's still got the through wire construction. So like if I had a tuna actually break it in half because I had my drag locked and I shouldn't have, and it was just sitting there ripping and I still landed the tuna, might've broke the bait in half, but because it's balsa. And that's another thing a lot of people don't understand. It's made out of balsa construction. It's a very detailed, intricate bait. Like it's not just a plastic ABS topwater bait like your typical Zara spook. Yeah, but
no, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry, that
still
was
still not. I mean, listen, I'm still gonna get on to you for being on another podcast. Yeah. He's not, seriously. Like, I'm just kidding. You guys should be on every one of them. Real quick on TikTok, Justin Fravel wants to know. Got to ask the question one more time. I fished for 100K in the Ozarks. What are you throwing?
One fish for 100K in the Ozarks.
One fish for 100K in the Ozarks, maybe like a big fish. What would you throw right now?
Right now,
and it doesn't have to be the OG. What would you throw right now?
Probably a 5.4 Echo. Honestly,
You'll
probably go try to minnow one.
Okay, minnow one. What about you?
Dude, I don't know anything about the Ozarks.
I don't either.
I don't either. So that's what I'm guessing. Brad Silvers wants to know, when you pull up to a creek and it is loaded. Now he capitalized every single letter in loaded. So that means just a ton of bait. With that much bait, where do you start and what do you start with? When you see a ton of bait in there in a creek. Now I'll say this too. He fishes Carter's a lot too. I don't know if this is a Carter's question, but I do know that even the striper guides on Carter say there's way too much bait there. How would you compete with that?
Yeah, I mean, what's the reason why I paused there was because I haven't really, well, in the wintertime, I see some of that scenario on Lanier for sure, in the backs of creeks. But I'm typically I'm not going with trying to follow the bait necessarily. I'm trying to find pods of school of bass. Mm-hmm. And so I'm more so trying to key in on what specific structure are they on? Where on the map can I mimic a specific pattern and then follow that pattern? And so, I haven't necessarily dealt with that scenario this time of year and tried to like figure that out. I keep moving and just looking for schools of bass that I can target and figure out what they're biting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So now, Collins, we finally got back down to James because I told him to write that comment. This is how far behind we are. Basically, he stinks with the OG, and he knows it's him and not the bait because he sees what you guys catch with it, but he struggles. Yeah. Give me some advice for old James right there. Keep throwing it.
I would say, man, it's funny because I wish I could take guys out. I even looked at the possibility of that. It couldn't work out, but
we would all know your spots then.
Yeah, true, true. But it's one of those things. The number one thing I would tell you, man, is especially now that we're going to get into the cooler months in October, November. All right. And look me up on Instagram too, man. Hit me up. Right. I'll be more than happy to like key you in on like specifics, but it has to be one of those things that you lock in your hand. I think that, and granted, I fall into this too, right? Oftentimes we spread ourselves way too thin out there. So, excuse me, we spread ourselves way too thin. So we try too many things, and we end up not figuring it out. And so, one of the reasons why I love this bait so much is because initially I love to throw a glide. That's what happened. I mean, that's how it registers with me. So if you knew me prior to 2020, I threw glide baits a lot. And I love baits that draw fish up. And so the bait resonates with me a lot. But then also when I go out there, and if I figure that they're on it, I mean, I lock that thing in my hand. And I'm trying to catch the biggest one that I can get. And so what I would say is definitely learn it by locking it in your hand. And there's some optimal times of the year. I mean, like, man, during the spring, during the herring spawn, there's not a better time to lock it in your hand, especially 2 in June. That's another great month. And then now, as we're moving into the end of September into October, I mean, you can catch your PB.
And it's kind of like what we were talking about last week. Is it's like if you want to learn a glide bait, July is probably not the time to learn it. It's like if you want to learn it, like go when it's good. So like he's saying, like in those spring months, and then right now going into October and to the end of October, I would say it's one of the best times you can go learn throwing the OG. And when I first got my very first OG, I got it in June, and I threw it from June, July. I remember buying the bait, knew nothing about casts, nothing about them. And I threw it in June, I threw it in July, and I still didn't catch a bass on it. And then all of a sudden I threw it towards the end of September, and I caught a 5-pound largemouth. I caught a 4-pound spot, and I was like, okay, this thing's pretty sweet. And then the next weekend I went out on Burton and I caught 20 pounds on it. And I was like, okay, this thing's pretty cool. And so it's like, I had that thing tied onto my deck all summer long, and I didn't have enough confidence in it to throw it all the time. But then all of a sudden, once I did, it was locked in my hand.
Yeah.
And so like, if you can, same thing with a glide bait or any bait for that matter, if you want to get good at learning a certain technique, like don't go learn how to fish a jerk bait in the middle of the summer when it's tough. Like go throw a jerk bait in the fall, like when they're eating a jerk bait good, or same thing with like the spring. Like lean into those times. That's like, if you're going to learn throwing a deep crankbait, summertime is the time to go throw a deep crankbait. So lean into those times a little bit more, and that will help, especially a lot with the dialing in the OG.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Cranking and yanking, what's going on? No, I haven't been bowling lately. I can't even remember the last time I went bowling. It's been a hot minute. I'm scrolling through. There's a lot of comments and questions right there. Now, Tracy said he caught a few on top yesterday with little to no wind. David said with the skimmer this year, if you didn't have a feathered treble, they wouldn't hit the skimmer. So kind of, and that's a confidence thing too, I'm sure. Bottom Line Outdoor says wind and current does push plankton into different locations, which will place bait fish in those locations for sure. That makes a ton of sense. But I guess what he's saying is like you don't want to just leave the bait at home just because you don't have any wind, for sure. David Weaver, will they ever get a clear to clear with a red or green tone to the OG?
So I'll give you my answer to that question. One of the things that Clint said that I don't know if most people don't know this. It's a balsa bait.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So you cannot, first of all, the way we've made it, you cannot make it clear. Now we are looking into some things, and that's in the works. That may change here shortly, but right now it is a hard wood balsa bait.
That didn't even cross my mind when I read that question, and I knew that.
Yep,
I knew.
And look, yeah, Ryan he wrote about it right there. We're working very hard.
So basically, says I'm so fortunate to know the guys at Fish North Georgia and Danny Pruitt. He is absolutely an awesome guy, and I can't thank him enough for all the support that he gives me. Still think it's rad that we were talking about his baits on the Fish North Georgia podcast. Now, what he said, he's so fortunate to have so many amazing people in my life, and I can't thank you guys enough. Really appreciate the support. Still think it's rad we are catching bass on GT lures. And again, guys, for a lot of you that don't realize that when he says GT Lures, definitely out of Australia.
Yep.
So I am fixing the TikTok back. Clint, if you don't mind, read Brad Silver's question.
Yeah, so he said, where would you typically throw the OG on a grass lake like Chickamauga? I've actually brought it up to Chick, and I've caught 2 bass on it, but don't fish there very often. And I caught them on the edge of the grass line. So on the edge of a hydrilla mat, they were kind of popping some bait on the edge of that mat. So like somewhere where you'd throw, if you see bait fish on the edge of that mat, like going off into the river channel, especially Main Lake on Chick or Nickajack and those lakes up there, definitely keep that OG tied on for the edges of those. Obviously, you're not going to throw it into the mat. It's not weedless. It's got trebles on it. That would not be a very fun experience throwing an OG into the mat. Maybe we'll make a grass version one day, but not yet.
Yeah, you see Aquaholic too, like that. Can AI make a balsa bait clear yet?
I mean,
sure,
we're working on it. We're working on it.
I think you should talk about the down under. I saw somebody asked about it. Like, what happened to the down under? And
so
because that's his deal.
Yeah, the down under was like my baby, because when Franco's catching 5-pounders all day on the OG, I was like, I got to figure out something else to catch them on, because I obviously can't do it on the OG. So they came out with the down under. So it's a diving popper. It's also balsa. It looks similar to the OG, but it's got a big cupped mouth on it. It's a lot squarer of a bait. And so when you dive the down under, it dives and then creates an insane hot tub bubble trail to where like you pull it underwater and it's just sizzling back behind it. And this bait, for some reason, it just resonated with me. And I was like, okay, I can throw a popper. Ultimately, it's a bigger profile, but I can really just call them up with it. So I'd hit it and it's like it is a sploosh. Like it is a
sploosh
heavy,
again. Here we
heavy
go.
Sploosh, heavy sploosh. And so especially when you got some, those fish are deeper on those brush piles and you really want to call them up. I was calling them up over brush piles, and that was a lot of fun. And also like when that water starts to get a little colder, so we're talking more into November, that 55 or like 55 to 60 water temp range. I was out on Lake Chautauqua with my buddy Ian, and I had this down under tied on, and he was like, why do you have Topwater tied on, dude? Like it was like late November, maybe even December. And the water temp was like 52 when we got there, warmed up to like 55. And they were pushing bait, and I slung this down under out there, and he's like, dude, what are you doing? He's like throwing an underspin real slow through him or something. And I splooshed this down under, and I catch one, just clobbers it. And he is like, you just caught a bass on Topwater, and it's like 54 degree water, 55 degree water, like super cold. We're bundled up, like it's went like, and he was like, how did you do that? And so early on in the development of the down under, I was shooting with Ryan, and we were talking about the down under. Like we throw it offshore, we throw it over brush piles, we call fish up off brush piles, and that's how we fish the down under. And that was really all the territory that was kind of explored at the time. Was like throwing it offshore, like the same places we were throwing the OG. I was like, Ryan, why don't we throw that thing around docks? I was like, if we threw it around a dock, like you got to think it'll dive down, and it'll be like when those fish are high up on those, especially like the black floats or the jet ski floats and things like that. If it would dive down, maybe we could catch them on that. And I was like, we need something like for the springtime to throw, like really throw this bait around the cover. And so he was like, well, here's a mock-up of like a bluegill design. Like, what do you think? And I was like, dude, it's perfect. I was like, if we had like a bluegill design, I was like, you make an orange cup on the lip. So the lip is orange. So it reflects that like yellow belly. And I was like, let's do it. And so we designed it. And he's like, well, what do we want to call it? And I was like, dude, let's just call it the Bartlett bluegill. Come on. And then he's like, okay. And I was like, oh crap. Like I've got a bait with my name on it. Yeah. I was like, that was pretty cool.
You've
and
arrived.
So at the classic that year is when we dropped the Bartlett bluegill. And I thought that was really cool. Just to see. And like, so throwing that bluegill bait around the docks, especially close to the bluegill spawn in the spring, throwing it around those docks, caught some big largemouth up there. We actually took it to Texas that same year, and we were fishing around some grass on the edges of grass with it. So there would be like these 12-foot hydrilla mats, and we were throwing it on the edges of them. And Hanks is just back there just blooping along with the down under. And then he caught like 2 4-pounders, like 2 casts in a row on it. And he's like, dude, this is crazy. I'm in Texas catching them on a bluegill down under. And then later that fall, Mick Guthrie comes from Australia. He part owner of Cast, or like started everything. And he comes here, and he's just like throwing. He was visiting Ryan in Florida. They were like saltwater fishing, and then they go fish. I think, was it a pond or a lake?
A pond in the back of their house.
Yeah, a pond in the back of the house. And was it 10?
It was close to 10.
It was almost 10-pounder on it. And he's like, bass fishing's easy, mate. He's like,
Yeah.
too easy, mate. Like, just caught me a 10-pounder. I've been in America for 2 weeks. Like,
yeah,
Sure.
that's the one you want to throw when you're on grass, bro.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
I got
For
you.
sure. And so the down under's not dead. It's coming back. We kind of like noticed, like, we really pushed the OG hard because it resonated with a lot of people. A lot of people could buy it, work it, enjoy it. And the down under kind of took a little bit more. It was kind of in the shadows for the most part. So we kind of backed off on production of that, but we're actually bringing it back. I'm pushing real hard to bring that thing back. And then also we got some pretty cool colors coming out, maybe a limited drop in the next few weeks with that down under. So definitely keep an eye on Cast socials because it's coming, and there's not going to be a lot of them, especially with our limited drop color, but that's one color that I can't wait to have in my tackle box.
Okay,
So,
good. So you
an
actually
eye out.
answered a couple questions. I like Eddie Williams. Lost my 20 OG River Gray on there a couple weeks ago. My braid popped on a cast and I never heard it land. That's because you can bomb these things.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
That's the nice thing about the balsa too. You think about slinging an ABS bait versus balsa, especially like you don't need wind to catch them on it. But when you do have those windy days, it's nice to be able to have something you can sling into the wind and still be able to get that boat positioning where you need it to be. And
It like slices right through the wind.
dude, it really does.
For sure. Now pull up David Weaver's comment under Adam W. Fishing because he basically just answered all the down under stuff. Pull that up, but I'm going to address cranking and yanking. Yeah, listen, you're absolutely right. He sent me a pic of guys bowling. Like, did you see that? Didn't I share it with you guys? Cranking and yanking's picture about the down
yeah, I
scope
saw
and all that.
that.
So it's like bowling with the things on there. Listen, I get so many. I forget things. You know I'm old. And Pontoon Jody Catfish is in here. We're making her into a bass angler. And that's why
I want to see her catch a catfish on an OG. That'd be pretty cool.
that would be pretty cool. But this is twice she has joined us today. So
That's awesome.
we are converting her. Franco, do you fish any other topwater like a buzzbait or a whopper plopper or a frog?
Yeah.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Of course he does.
So I'll tell you some of the other top orders that let's just talk about the fall and some of the fall time top water baits that I really like to throw. And some of them you may not have heard of them or you maybe have, but they're not easy to find. One of the baits that I absolutely destroy them on in the fall is a wake bait.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Bomber makes a wake bait. Is it? And it's pretty. I mean, it's
Like the long A?
the long A.
Old school.
Oh yeah, man, that's my deal. I love that
what?
bait.
Here's the thing, because I've noticed you said several times when you're talking about going to a spot, you said several times you start off with a wake bait.
Yeah,
Yeah, I kind of picked up on that, and
Yeah.
I knew we'd get around to it.
I mean, it
old long
is
A.
it is a big fish catcher, man.
My Lanier PB came on a long A.
Yes, sir.
That's
and
awesome.
Will Harkins almost won that MPFL event on Lanier.
Yep.
The
Yep.
first 2 days he threw that long A, and then he said he stuck with it the last day. He should have changed.
It's meticulous to throw.
Yeah.
It doesn't cast great, but if you put it on a spinning reel, you rig it up right, put some braid on it. The other thing that you have to learn how to do with it is you have to learn to work it slow with your rod tip up, almost like at 10 o'clock, and you just reel that thing extremely slow. And that's how you catch those big ones, man. But because the bait wants to dive, the long A wants to go under the water.
Mhm.
But the way that you get those strikes is by creeping it and just letting it meander on the top of the water. That's one of the big ones I throw.
Tell me you don't throw the whopper plopper.
I do not throw the whopper
Thank
flopper.
you. This is why I like
But
it.
this is one I'll let it out too. So this is a really good top water bait this time of year. Actually, especially as we're getting into late September. and it's called the OSP bent minnow.
It's a good bait.
Oh, okay. What's so
You know what it
special
is?
about that bait?
Talk about it.
So it's a herring style. It looks just like a herring if you look at it. And what it does, it looks bent,
It's like a banana.
and but it swims like a fluke. It's hard body, so it has trebles on it, so you don't have to worry about missing fish. But what it does is you work it down, and then it slowly swims its way back up.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
It's cool.
Ooh.
it's
no.
deadly, man.
Yeah, it's
Deadly
cool.
bait.
And what's the name of that again?
OSP bent minnow.
There you go. Dropping the juice tonight.
Yeah.
Dropping the juice tonight. Now, Aquaholic, you guys listen to this story. Now, I know Aquaholic. I don't know if I can believe him on this one. But he says, my long A got my personal best spot, lost the lure on the next cast. I snagged it back, retied it, and then got my PB largie on the next cast.
You were on the right school, brother.
You were there, man. Absolutely. That's as good as it gets right there.
That's
for sure.
Talking about Murray.
Yeah, Murray, I saw that question. Yeah, Jerry Catula.
So
That's an awesome lake, too.
it's a great place for the OG. So I had a tournament in May on Lake Murray, and I was like just frothing at it because I was like, they ought to eat an OG. It's herring spawn. Like, it should be fun. And I roll up to practice, and I had a bankroll 20-gram OG tied on, and I'm like, okay. So I pull up to the first spot I found on Navionics. I was bouncing around, never been to Murray before. And I was like, okay, like this looks like a good spot. Spent some time there, moved around, went to the next point. And then I cast out, and my buddy Jacob Silver's fishing with me, my old fishing partner from college. And I like burn it, stop it on the super shallow flat point. And then all of a sudden I just a subtle little blow up, and I lean back, set the hook, and I'm like reeling. I'm like, this thing feels weird. I was like, I don't know. And he's like, is it big? I was like, I don't think so. Like, I swear I saw the fish. I was like, I don't think it's that big. And he gets the net out, and this is practice, of course, the only time this would happen. And then he's like, oh my God. And we go get it in the net. I have a 5.5-pound largemouth and a 3.5-pound largemouth on either treble hook, and got them both. Yeah. So doubled up on the OG. And I'm like, oh boy, like this is going to be fun.
And that was on Murray.
I was on Murray. And then so bounced around that day, fished a couple more herring spawn spots, caught another like 4-pounder, caught a 3-pounder, dumped a 3-pounder on this one spot. I dumped a 3-pounder, and I was like, okay, like we have this part figured out, tried to figure out some other stuff, fished the tournament, went to that same spot that I dumped a 3-pounder, dumped a 3-pounder in the tournament on that same spot, went to the next spot that I caught that double on, dumped a 4-pounder on that same spot. And I don't know what changed that I was dumping them. I think it might've been just like I was wrenching on them a little too hard, but it was like, you definitely playing in with that, that rod, that is critical. I think what had happened was I broke off and tied it onto a different rod, and I think it was a little too stiff. Because for that 20-gram, you don't want as stiff of a rod. You definitely want more of your traditional topwater rod, whereas I was throwing the 30-gram as well, and I had that on a little bit beefier one, and I think that's why I was sticking them better. But definitely Murray, it gets bit. I caught him out there on it. A lot of the Elite Series guys were hitting me up before their Murray tournament and was like, hey, how do I work this OG? How do I do this? And I went out on Lanier with a couple of them and showed them like, hey, this is how it works. And of course, Lanier, it wasn't going down on Lanier, so they didn't believe me that it worked. And then guys still caught them on it at Murray in that Elite Series tournament. So it's awesome. Definitely a great place to throw it. Definitely herring spawn that late April, early May is a lot of fun on Murray, but then also this fall time too, to where they're really feeding up on bait. Throw it into school and fish. It's one of my favorite places to throw the bait is into a school of fish, especially you get them coming up 100, 120, 140 feet away. You can actually hit them with an OG, whereas almost any other topwater bait you can't.
Yeah, because you can bomb that thing again. And Ashley, hello, how are you? Over there on TikTok. She's going to Hartwell in the morning. Any suggestions?
Run and gun,
that's what basically you've been talking about doing.
Yeah.
And so you just now got here. We've been talking topwater pretty much the entire show. That first hour flew through too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like it went by fast. So what our guest Franco was talking about is going to a spot, trying different spots, running the gun, and a few casts each time, and then just figuring out the pattern and all that. But if you couldn't throw, if you're going to Hartwell tomorrow and you couldn't throw topwater, no topwater, what would you throw other than topwater on like Hartwell?
Fluke.
Yeah, fluke.
You go with a fluke?
Yeah.
Now, over offshore stuff or
Both
hitting the banks and all
absolutely.
that? So there you go. Actually, throw a fluke. That's what these guys say. Now, Aquaholic says a chatterbait. War Eagle, the best wants to know, in what conditions would you use the OG in the black pearl color? Now, is that the black one with the silver on the side?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure I knew which one you're talking about.
So the best time to throw the black is sunny conditions. So I'm talking about like when you have your sunniest of days. So what it does, and you have to think about it a little bit to get this, but there's two attributes to that bait that are really cool in that color, that black pearl. First of all, it throws off a silhouette, so it doesn't blind them. Like typically if you throw like a solid chrome color and it's calm, I mean, it can be too much for them. So all they see is a silhouette. They see a black silhouette when they're looking up at it, right? The other thing is that on the side of the bait, it has like these slivers of chrome. And it's got about, 7 on one side, 7 on the other side. And what the bait does when you swim it is it dives and it wiggles and it comes back up. And oftentimes we say it looks like a school of threadfin to them because it's very small little chrome slashes on the side.
Right.
And so it although it's a bait that's about this size, because of the design on it, it can come through as a school of small threadfin shad actually going through the water column.
Yeah, I remember you saying that one time when we had you.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to know when was the best time to throw that black was. I remember you saying, sunny as it gets.
Sunny as it gets,
I remember that. Now, Aquaholic said he only tried his at night with no luck. You got to throw that thing in the daytime.
They got to be able to see it.
Yeah, they got.
I feel like it's a very sight feeder.
It is a very
sight
oriented bait. Yes.
All right, Gary Heath, pull up the first one from our buddy Gary right there. Has a bunch. Okay, he has a bunch of original long A in the brown packs, chrome that are bone underneath. When you scrape them, I guess that's what you're saying. And then Franco on the long A removed the center hook and removed the split ring tied directly to the bait with 17-pound mono. That's an East Tennessee secret.
That's cool. I do a couple of things to it as well, just to kind of, I'll share with you what I do. First of all, I take the back hook out. I switch it out for a feather treble on the back. And on the front hook, I put a little number 6 red, like just a red hook. And they'll always key in on that front hook with that little red number 6 on it. It's pretty cool.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
See, I like the little disguise way they just change a bait.
Now I do that on the bone colored one. So the bone has like this really cool, very solid bone color, and that red kind of offsets with it. And I think it really keys them in on it.
I got you. Let me ask you, you ever throw a worm?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we're talking about topwater tonight. But I'm like, I wonder if he actually throws a worm.
I love throwing a Nico. That's kind of,
you like throwing a Nico and all that?
A Nico and a shaky head.
And a shaky head. I mean, while you guys are talking, I'm sitting there thinking, wondering what the guys.
Well, I have a worm in the boat when he's catching them like
that's
this.
That's what
on
I'm like.
Well, there's times of the year where like you can't beat a Nico.
Oh,
I mean, springtime and in the winter.
His lucky long A is blue with red eyes.
Cool.
Okay, that makes sense. Do you think though the color red, is it just because it's a different color that they key in on, or is it actually it being red?
What I can tell is, again, on a wake bait, it moves so slow through the water column that they will come up and actually track with it, and then they'll decide to hit it. And so oftentimes it's about convincing them. It's about, hey, this looks lively. So I do everything I can to kind of dress it up and give something for them to key in on. Whether it's that feathered treble on the back so they can see, hey, you know what, this looks exactly like an actual bait fish swimming, or I'll put that red treble on and a lot of times they'll headshot it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alex, what you thinking back there? You're doing a lot of work with all the comments and all, but I know the way your brain works. What's going through that brain of yours?
I use red hooks quite a bit.
You do use red hooks quite a bit?
Yeah.
What about as a kayaker? We're talking all this top water because you're usually hitting more shallow stuff.
Eh,
You know, I mean,
yes and no.
Yeah, yes and no. But I would say you
I
probably spend the majority of your time
OG
20 foot or less.
I
Right?
throw the OG quite a bit, especially out on Latham. It works really good on Latham.
Yeah, it does. That's my lake. You guys stay off that lake. All right, don't nobody come. There's no fish in Latham.
I think I've got five cast OGs.
You got 5 of them?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I've got a setup dedicated to it.
You got a dedicated setup.
Yep.
What is it?
Pretty much exactly the same thing. It's like a 7.2 medium heavy
Yeah.
with 50-pound cast braid and a 20-pound fluorocarbon leader.
Like you've been watching his videos, ain't you?
I listen.
You do listen.
I
You're a
listen.
smart man.
Like,
Smart man. Let's see. David Weaver. We used to paint marker our Vixen's a white enamel color, and then put a red treble hook on the front hooks.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
That's a really actually awesome top water bait. Very effective too. And I did the same thing. Wouldn't paint it, but actually would get kind of the bone or the white colored Vixens and then put that red treble on the front.
Little
Great
tip,
bait.
guys. Little juice here and there.
Yeah.
It can make the little detail that might make all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
All right. So our buddy Cranking and Yanking, pull him on. He lives in Louisiana. So he fishes some really cool stuff.
It's funny. One of my best friends is from Lake Charles.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I caught 15 to 20 this evening on a wacky June bug yum dinger, but our water probably not as cooled as much as in Georgia. And when I saw that, I wanted to ask you, what was the water temp on the water last time you was on it here on Lake Lanier?
78.
78. Cranking and yanking. What you guys got going on down in Louisiana as far as water temp? David Weaver, Franco, do you use any tinsel in your Tide feather trebles? And I can tell you he does because I can see it from right here. A little bit of green.
Yep.
It's not overbearing, just a little bit.
Yeah, I do two things with the feather trebles. I'll definitely put some flash into it. That works. I love that. And then also I mixed in a little chartreuse into the feather treble. Now I don't have it on this one, but it's actually one of those things I got from Lobina. But yeah, just put a little bit of chartreuse into your feather treble, and a lot of times it's funny. You've heard of guys throwing a chartreuse fluke, and we put out the Joker last year, which has an entire chartreuse bottom on it, but that chartreuse will trigger them as well. It's like a big trigger for them.
Yeah,
it gets them mad.
So another thing I've done with my top waters on the feather treble specifically is take the Spike It chartreuse pin, and do like a couple lines down my feather treble,
just on the white, and just hit that.
Just to break it up a little bit, give it a little something.
Yeah, that's what you do that? Because I heard you go, You like that little tip? I love it. Like all kinds of juice going on. Cranking and yanking, I got water temps in the lower 80s, but we're still seeing 90-degree plus days. It hasn't gotten that warm here, so we are kind of cool. The mornings have been amazing because the humidity's down, and a 60, in the 60s, even though it's still like with that no humidity, it's like it is deer hunting season. I can tell you that right now. Here's a question for me. Even with the cast or any of these topwater baits, a lot of us novices, we set the hook too fast. And you've heard all sorts of tricks.
That's a great question.
All sorts of tricks about, turning your head, feeling the bite and everything. Now you're a little more experienced, so I'm sure you don't do that. When you're working your OG, do you do anything like that to keep you from pulling it out of their mouths?
Yeah, it's actually super important with the OG. Two things I would say. Number one, it's really important, like Clint said, you do not have a broomstick of a rod. You need something that loads up. It's really important because they will knock the crap out of the bait. And a lot of times it's about not pulling the trebles out of their mouth and ripping it out of their mouth, because oftentimes they get just a little bit of it. Number two, like to your point, you want to feel the bite. You don't want to pull it from them visually. So like you're not looking for them to see the strike and then you're pulling the bait to set the hook. No, you actually, it's almost like a frog bite. You almost like want to feel them, and then you set.
You go into them.
And then you set.
Because that's something that a lot of guys do.
For sure.
And
I've missed a lot of fish on an OG because I get excited.
Well, I mean, like
yeah,
whether buzz baits,
Oh,
any top water, a lot of us guys are like, when you hear the sploosh or whatever
Yeah.
you want to say,
Mhm.
you set the hook.
And they'll miss it. They'll miss it sometimes too.
Yeah.
So you really got to have that self-control and stay patient and keep working the bait because they'll come back for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's easier said than done sometimes, for sure. Alcoholic says, I let them swim, then I set. Getsum says, I just reel in, try not to set the hook. Again, that's one of these things that it is tough for the average guy to do that. I'm going to try to have that short leader and that swivel trick. It should work. Aaron wants to know, do you ever Sharpie your baits?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was talking, was it on the lunch break about the
About the rock crawlers.
about the rock crawler or the little John that's clear? Farmer showed me that little red Sharpie, and you can just basically turn that into a totally different bait. Do you guys do anything like that? Carry Sharpies to add a little color here and there?
No, I don't. I'll just switch to a chartreuse
You'll just switch
feather
the bait.
treble or
Yeah.
a chartreuse color within the bait itself, but I don't mess with Sharpies.
What about you?
Yeah, I don't really play with. The only thing I Sharpie is like braid when I'm flipping or frogging, but that's really all I'll use a Sharpie for in the boat.
Okay, all right. Alex, you got a question for the man? Because I haven't given you very much opportunity in there. I mean,
No.
you've been working hard.
No, I've been asking my questions.
You're good on your questions like that? All right, so going into, so we're what, midway through September? It's flying by, right? It's going to be Christmas like
it is.
before. How do you see like the topwater bite going into, you talked the other day, or not the other day, you talked earlier about, last year, the year before, 1 year, you were catching them as late as
November.
November.
And end of November. Last week of November.
last week in November. When you were catching them then, I'm trying to wrap my mind about guys talking about just the topwater bite's been off. And you talked about that with the pressure and all that. Do you find it could be kind of a little bit easier maybe later in the year to get that big topwater bite because there's less pressure?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Not as many people are out there throwing a topwater in November. Everybody's going to the ditches and stuff.
No, agreed. Now, there is something to this, and I will say this for sure. When you have your nasty weather days in October and November, that's when you absolutely want to have an OG on your hand. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt. You will get your shot at a PB. I mean, it will happen. It's almost like guaranteed as long as you stick to it. October, November gives you your greatest shot. And it's because we get those days, Danny, where it's like windy and rainy.
What do you call those days?
What do we call?
OG-able.
OG-able.
The OG-able days,
Lanier's
is that
looking
what it
pretty
is?
OG-able. That's what
OG-able?
we've called them.
Yeah.
I got that.
Yeah. And it's the days, at least in the fall specifically, that they just produce big bites. Yeah. And I love that kind of stuff. I love getting out in the elements. So like if there's a day that they're forecasting, over 15 miles an hour, I'm like, can I take the afternoon off to get out there? And if you have, rain in the forecast, or if it's a sunny, windy day, those days are like really good.
Just the most uncomfortable.
If you feel uncomfortable with being out there, and because you can't sit in your boat, or you can't stay locked where you want to be able to cast straight, or whatever, those are the days, man, that you want to be out there casting that thing.
And it's probably the best case scenario, easiest way to fish out there, chunking a heavy topwater bait that you can sling in the wind versus trying to sling a worm and you cast it and your worm's 30 yards down because of the wind and things like that. So it's a fun way to fish.
And also you don't have to, I was going to say this, like, I remember that day, it was the day before Thanksgiving. And I mean, it was freaking gassing. I didn't get on the side of the lake where it was like hitting the hardest. I just stayed on the other. I mean, you can stay on the side that's not getting hit as hard and still take advantage of the wind and use it to your favor. And you get, most awesome bites you've ever seen.
Let me ask you, what about boat traffic and all that?
Yeah.
Like, because you know how, especially during the summer and even still a little bit Lanier and all these other lakes are still getting hammered.
Yeah.
Will that deter you from throwing that thing if you're out there? Like, say you're out there in front of the dam on Lanier, out there in that area.
Yeah.
Will you still throw that?
Oh, yeah.
Even, you don't find it messes with it hardly at all?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Actually, the more, I did say, like, and it's the truth, you can catch your biggest fish on calm days, but if there's anything causing turbulence in the water, because like to Clint's point, and he's dead on. This is such a sight feeding for the most part. They're sight feeding. They're keying in on something. They're looking at it. They're coming up to it, and then they're determining that I'm going to hit it. Now, the cool thing about the fall is that they get kind of bat crazy. They don't give a crap like, hey, I'm going to hit this thing no matter what. And so that's the favor that you have in the fall, is that especially on those days where it's windy and it's nasty, they can't key in on it as well. So they're not looking as easy as good on it. But man, there's some days in the fall, Danny, that you crack them, man. It's a good time.
Oh yeah, I get it. Will there ever be an OG smaller than a 20 gram?
Oof.
Yes.
Actually, I mean, we have some prototypes, and they're in the small size, and we just got to get it right. The other thing about you asked about the color input.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that we like, that Ryan's real keen on with me, especially, and I think with all of us, is that we don't want to just put something out to put something out. And I'm like, dude, if we're putting something out, it's got to do the deal right.
Yeah.
So we've been working on some stuff right now, and we've been going back and forth on it for months. And I'm like, yeah, we're not putting it out until it's right.
Yeah, for sure.
And same thing with the smaller size.
Yeah.
Did he let it slip right there?
I don't know.
You don't know? I heard nothing. I know nothing right there.
Same thing with the smaller size OG.
Smaller
We got to get it right. The thing is the balance in the bait, making sure it swims right, all that good kind of stuff.
You guys didn't hear that. It's basically what we're telling you right there.
Yeah.
Pull up old cranking and yanking right there.
Of course. I like it.
Now he goes, dang, and OG is expensive. I just looked them up. So I would want to know what we're talking about. Is that not a topwater walking bait? So no, it's not. And also too, one thing, it's a saltwater bait from Australia that is a balsa bait. It's got all these other things lined through everything. So it's made, that's where it originated, was that. And so they're still made in Australia, correct? Right?
No, they're made in China.
In China now.
Yes.
Okay. So they're made there. Well, everything is pretty much.
Yeah.
Am I wrong on that?
I thought they're made in Indonesia.
Indonesia, is that okay?
But they're a saltwater bait.
Yeah.
And so getting them over here, it is. But there's a lot of things you're going to get with this that you're not going to get with just a spook. Okay. I mean, you probably could go buy you 4 spooks or something like that for sure. But it's a totally different action. And watching these guys throw it, it's topwater walking bait is like the farthest thing from what I would describe it. Wouldn't you say that way?
100%.
Yeah. If you can pan over to me, I'll show you kind of the attributes of the bait and why it does cost so much if I don't knock things over. So first of all, like we talked about, all this is balsa. So think about like a custom made glide bait or a custom made crankbait. Mm-hmm. That's what you're getting into when you get this.
Yeah.
Right. It's solid wood, balsa wood. It has a line through. So this piece right here that you tie to, it actually has a metal line through that goes all the way through the bait to the butt. And it has a weight here. And then it has the hooks then tie into that line through. And so it has a rotator system with the hook. So if you hook a fish, mm-hmm. the fish can turn and the hook just keeps twisting with it. So they can't get leverage on you. So it's a pretty, I would say, high-end constructed bait.
Yeah, there's a lot goes to it.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like there's glide baits that can be $200-$300 that don't even have swiveling hook hangers. So being able to have those on there, give you that leverage on the fish and not let the fish get the leverage on you. Just having that high quality construction. It's also quiet. It's no rattles. No rattles. And I think that gives it its own presentation as well, especially when you have a slick glass calm day. Gives it something, whereas walking a regular spook, you're still going to have that same mechanical action, and that gives you that non-mechanical random action.
Thinking about where cranking and yanking fishes, could you imagine that coming through the cypress trees?
I've thrown it on Caddo. I didn't catch any on it, I will say that, but I didn't throw it very long. But I did throw it on Caddo, and then I went up not too far from Caddo on a little sneaky East Texas lake and caught them really good on it. So it does work in Texas and Louisiana.
But I bet you, though, I mean, one of them big
If you slide that
largemouth-
around a cypress tree, it'd be fun.
Mhm.
Now I would get it hung, of course, but you guys that can cast
Yeah,
straight
you
and all
would,
that.
yeah.
I would get it hung and all that. Okay, so I get it. All right, guys, we're about an hour and a half in, and this man has a family, and so I don't want to keep him out too late. So if you got any questions, real quick before I let him go, you guys better throw it up there and get him out there.
That's a good one.
Franco,
That's a
do
good
you
one.
ever use? That is a good question.
It's a great question.
Do you ever use a front runner on the OG?
Never tried it.
I wonder how that would affect it the way it works. So
Yeah, I've never tried it. Great question.
Try it. and let
Try
us
it,
know.
man. Let us know.
that didn't even cross my mind. Been a combination,
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
but would it affect like you said? Right now, you can't do it too fast. Like I mean, right now you're going fast, and then pause it.
Yeah.
Like that. I wonder how a front runner would work on that if you tried to do that speed.
Yeah, I don't know.
We should design a front runner that looks like a tiny, tiny OG that's like an inch. It can be the 1 gram front
The
runner.
1 gram
yeah.
as opposed to the other one you were talking about here a
Yeah,
little while
yeah.
ago. So anyway, all right, let's just do that. Listen, you dropped a ton. I mean, don't you think so, Alex? Like there was a ton of little juice, and like I could see him like grinning, like I don't really want to tell you guys this, but what we've done tonight is we've condensed it down into an hour and a half because you didn't have near as much filler with me and all that. So you guys got a lot, and David said that's a great idea. So I tell you what we're going to do.
Yeah.
We're going to cut it right now and let Franco get back. Dude, listen, every time you come on, it's a pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much.
It is a
Danny.
pleasure. You guys, where can people follow you on your socials?
Gosh, I don't even know my names, right? I think on Facebook it's Jen Franco Curotto, but I think
Curotto Franco. on
Curotto
Instagram.
Franco on Instagram. That's where I keep all the cast stuff. So if you want to really get me on Instagram, and that's where like anything that I do with cast or for that matter with fishing, you can get me on Instagram. But
Can
feel
you spell
free.
that out for him.
Curotto. And then Franco, Franco. Yeah, and feel free to message me, man. I'm an open book, so you can just.
He might grin a little bit when you're typing it. Do you see Collins? I can definitely tell when the juice is coming because of your smirk. That little grin you got, like
That's right. That's right.
Hey, here it comes.
No, but I knew that. I mean,
Yeah.
It's, man. I'm telling you, I've been so blessed to be able to have fishing as an outlet.
Yes.
It is such a gift from God. And so, and to know Clint and Ryan and be able to share this passion, and if anything, we always want to bring more people into that fold and
Yeah.
share that passion and give you guys an opportunity to catch your PB. And so, hey, why hold back on that? Why hold back information that could be a blessing to others, and they can get in on it?
Let me give you one more question because he got it in here real quick. Brad Silvers wants to know, do you use the same speed on largemouth as you do spots this time of year? If you were like Murray is largemouth, right?
Yeah.
So would you be going as fast if you were on Murray? Would you think you'd be going as fast?
On Murray, yes, but that's probably the only. I think I would slow down on most other largemouth lakes, Chickamauga, Nickajack, Oconee, places like that.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And cranking and yanking. Yes, sir, buddy. He scopes. He's not a noper. He is a scoper. If you ain't scoping,
I
you
do
hope.
both.
He
for
does
sure.
both. Yeah, he
I
does.
do both.
He does both.
But
So-
you live and die by it out here, man.
On Lanier, it is a different world like that.
Yeah.
And one shameless plug, we did put out an OG masterclass with Franco on the Cast Fishing YouTube channel. And I filmed some pretty awesome drone stuff with Franco himself.
Yeah.
And we just got some really cool eats, super shallow water, looking down on it with the drone. So you can really see the bait in action. And he also walks through everything he's talked about tonight and then some juicy little tips in there. So go check that out on Cast YouTube because there's some pretty cool shots of some OG eats.
Definitely a shameless plug on that. Throwing in your camera work right there,
for
baby.
sure.
He did a great job.
He is good.
He-
He's good. I'm not going to tell him too much because
Yeah.
that head would get bigger, like that. But anyway, listen, dude. Honestly, it's always fun when you come up here,
Oh man.
and and you dropped a ton of good stuff.
It's an honor, man. Thank you.
The honor's mine.
Yeah.
The honor is mine. So,
Thank you so much, man.
Absolutely. So, Alex, you did a fantastic job in there because there was a lot of comments, a lot of questions. Clint, you did pretty good. You know, you didn't go over an hour long on one of your answers tonight.
Try not to get too long.
Boy, he gets to talking. But listen,
Oh, yeah.
you're saying good stuff, so I don't mind. And the longer you talk, the less I got to talk.
Fair enough.
That's way good. So anyway, guys, listen. Hey, join me tomorrow for the lunch break at 12. We'll probably talk about some of the stuff you heard tonight. Also, too, I gave a lot of the guys some homework to go to Brian Latimer's YouTube channel and watch his little video on.
Oh, you saw that today?
I saw it. I want you guys to watch his video, and he thinks a lot of the fall transition stuff is like a marketing scam. So we want to talk about that tomorrow too, you know, because some of it I can buy, some of it maybe not. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that. We'll do that tomorrow. Now, Thursday night, Kevin Underwood's going to be here. We're going to talk about the stuff that maybe BLAT doesn't think exists, and that is the fall transition and the turnover and all that.
Go watch that video again and see how many times he plugs that app that he's got.
Okay, listen, I was going to bring that up tomorrow. Alex,
We'll talk about it on the lunch
we'll
break.
talk about it on the lunch break. But yeah, that did cross my mind a time or two. So you guys have a great rest of your evening. We're going to let you out a little early tonight. Go get some rest. We'll see you tomorrow. And if we don't see you tomorrow on lunch break, we'll see you next Thursday night. So Franco, again, thank you, man. Appreciate it,
brother.
All right, you guys be good. We'll see you later.